This is one of those stories that's hard to tell. Not because the facts aren't there, but because too much of the truth got lost in the cracks of a broken system. We're going back to the 1970s, a time when the Arkansas State Medical Examiner's Office was supposed to stand for science and justice. But in reality, it had become a place of confusion and clutter. Evidence went missing, files didn't match, samples disappeared, and families all across this state were left waiting for answers that never came. One of those families belonged to Virginia Bishop Riley. Virginia was a Little Rock woman who vanished on the evening of June 6, 1973. According to her family, she told her children she'd be gone about an hour and a half. She drove off in her 1969 Buick LeSabre maroon with a white top with Arkansas license plates DEF 777 and was never seen again. Over the years, rumors spread. Some said a Little Rock physician had also gone missing around that time, but that was never verified. What was certain is that Virginia Riley disappeared without a trace, and her family spent decades wondering where she went. Then on July 21, 1977, fishermen on the Arkansas River near North Little Rock found human remains, a torso and legs. There was hope that maybe, through science, they could finally identify her. But what happened next became one of Arkansas's most painful examples of how bad forensic work can destroy the truth. The remains were examined at the Arkansas State Medical Examiner's Office, which was then under the direction of Rodney Carlton, later succeeded by Dr. Stephen Marks. Both men were later criticized for sloppy work, missing x-rays, and contradictory findings. According to family members, x-rays from the Riley case were either lost or destroyed. Hair samples were destroyed and disappeared, and then, without a confirmed identification, the remains were cremated. That decision ended any chance of future DNA or forensic review. Police investigators at the time were furious. They'd done their part, recovered the body, collected the evidence, and waited for science to confirm what they already suspected. But what came back from the medical examiner's office was confusion. Reports were incomplete, evidence logs were wrong, toxicology results were delayed or missing. Detectives reportedly asked, "How do you build a case on this?" It was the kind of frustration that echoed across Arkansas back then. When I was serving as coroner in Garland County, I saw the same problems firsthand, cases coming back with missing slides, conflicting times of death, or no report at all. That's why Tommy Robinson, then director of the Department of Public Safety and a cabinet member under Governor Bill Clinton, formed a task force to investigate the entire medical examiner system. Our job was to figure out how the medical examiner had gone so far off track and to recommend ways to fix it. Shortly after the task force delivered its findings, I was appointed as the director of the Arkansas State Crime Lab, a position overseen by Robinson himself. I'll never forget the day I was sworn in. After the ceremony at the Capitol, Tommy drove me back to the crime lab. As I got out of the car, he leaned over and said in his normal brash style, "All right, fat boy, fix this shit." That was my nickname, Fat Boy, since Tommy could never pronounce my last name. And he wasn't joking. He expected results, so I set out to do exactly that. Decades later, a new generation of the Riley family started digging again. One of them, Virginia's great niece, Brittany, contacted me and shared what she'd uncovered. According to the family, Virginia's estranged husband, known locally as Shug Riley, owned a small used car lot and body shop at 1815 East Broadway in North Little Rock around the time that she disappeared. They say that not long after Virginia vanished, Shug had a new concrete slab poured beside the shop, an area where, according to family members, none had ever been before. Brittany told me she visited that property years later. She noticed the slab looked different, newer, thicker, poured in an irregular shape. The family began to wonder if that concrete might hold answers. They also recalled that the Buick LeSabre was never recovered. Some believe it may have been crushed or scrapped along with other vehicles from that car lot. Again, these are allegations, family memories and suspicions passed down through time, but every one of them deserves to be checked out. And they fit a larger pattern from that era, a time when poor forensic oversight and limited follow-up meant leads were ignored and physical evidence was lost forever. The Riley case wasn't the only casualty. Others, like the Evelyn Williams fire in Hot Springs, suffered the same fate, conflicting reports, missing evidence, and families left in the dark. The Maybelline Fire case, Evelyn Williams' story, is featured on the Coroner's Report podcast, which is available now on all streaming platforms. It's what I call the GIGO principle, garbage in, garbage out. If the work going into an investigation is flawed, the outcome can never be trusted. Justice collapses from the inside out. All these years later, there's almost no chance of finding usable forensic evidence in Virginia's case. But her story teaches something important. Communities need to understand how their death investigation systems work. Most folks don't think about it until tragedy hits their own family. Even today, the Arkansas Crime Lab, now a respected accredited facility, faces about a 6-month turnaround time for toxicology results. That's not neglect, it's the result of decades of underfunding. The difference now is professionalism. Today's lab is run by qualified, credentialed scientists who do it right. They carry the burden of repairing the trust that old system destroyed. Still, for the Riley family and for many others, the damage was done long ago. They've lived with uncertainty no family should have to bear. When science fails, it's not just evidence that disappears, it's faith in the system. That's why stories like this matter. They remind us that every name on a cold case list, once a living, breathing person, is missing, with people who love them left behind. And they remind investigators and lawmakers alike that the truth depends on the integrity of every single piece of evidence. If you or anyone you know has information about the disappearance or death of Virginia Bishop Riley, please contact Agent Steve Moore with the Arkansas Attorney General's Office Cold Case Squad. Sometimes, even after half a century, a single memory, a photo, or a name can open a door that's been locked for far too long. This has been a coroner's memory. All persons mentioned in this coroner's memory are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. The information presented has been gathered from public records, historical documents, interviews, and media accounts, and includes details alleged by family members and recounted according to their personal knowledge. This story is shared for educational and historical purposes and out of respect for the families and communities affected. Y'all be kind to each other, okay?